Okay, hello everyone. It's good to see everyone. Welcome to another exciting session of Next Up. So today is a bit of a special session in that we have not just one, but we have four new product announcements. So if you're excited, I'm excited. Let's jump right in. Okay, before we start, per usual, there's going to be a few engagement questions that we have for you. We're going to want to know where you're coming from. Already see some folks are populating that in the chat. But we've got Mentimeter here. So you've got this QR code right here on the right-hand side of the screen. You can also go to menti.com, use this code 66372203. But go ahead and scan that now. We're also going to include this on some of our survey questions, but we're going to start here. So again, I'm seeing some of this in the chat, but we'd love to see where you're tuning in from today. We've got the QR code on the bottom. Just scan this and let us know. And then we're going to pull up a map right here and we're going to see all the different places. So this particular session, of course, has been designed for our friends here in the United States, has been designed for our friends, in this part of the world as well as Europe. So I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of folks from there. But Jordan, why don't we go ahead and pull up the map of the world and see where folks are tuning in from? Because it's always super exciting to take a look at all the different places that our guests are coming from. Well, see, just like we expected. So we've of course got a number of, a lot of East Coasters today, number of folks coming from the US. I guess that makes sense. It is 8 a.m. here on the West Coast. We've got a lot of folks tuning in from Europe. We do still, actually for my panelists around, we do still have a number of people participating from our AP region. So it's pretty late for them, but if you're excited, you're excited. But lots of good stuff there. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring it back here. We are super excited to be doing a number of giveaways today, so stay tuned. We're going to be providing details on this contest a little bit later in the session today. We've got a lot of our new Logitech products, which we're both going to talk about, but we're also going to be sharing them, giving them away with you a little bit later today. And I always give this slide at the beginning, but for those of you who are new, let me tell you all about Next Up. Next Up is a series with Logitech for Business where it's all about connecting with you. So Logitech for Business, we're always trying to make our products better, and we wanted to build a series that brings the information directly to you, and we wanted to do that as early as possible. So when you think about things like software previews, when you think about product announcements like today, when you think about certifications, we're bringing those updates to you, and we're trying to bring them to you before launch, right at launch, one of those two things. And the point is that we want to be sure that you, as our partners, our organizations, the people that we work with, really understand the full offering and the breadth of our portfolio. And that's going to help you to maximize the value of the devices and your deployments. And we also want you to be able to hear it directly from us, the product team here at Logitech, so you can ask questions, so we can interface directly with you. And that's a great segue because we've got a number of people from our product team here today. So just quick introduction, my name's Craig. I lead the product marketing team for software services partners, but I have three additional guests and I'm going to start with Tanya. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Of course, of course. Thanks, Craig. I'm Tanya Brillen. I lead product marketing for these personal workspace products.
Hey, I'm Greg from the Ferrier. I lead product management for B2B personal workspace.
Hello, everyone. Erica Kim here from the product team. Can't wait to show you exciting stuff today.
So if you look, we've got some light morning backgrounds behind maybe Tanya and Erica and myself. We've got a dark evening background behind Greg. So really all of us, we're product team is here joining from all different parts of the world, but it's really our way to connect with you. Okay, so before we get into the products, I want to just zoom out for a second, provide some context. I know we typically do this at the beginning of each of our sessions, and I use this phrase a lot, all people, all spaces. In fact, Logitech loves to use this phrase a lot. But today, it's really especially applicable. So when we think about all the different places that people work, and you think about all the different types of people that we work with and their working styles, it's quite a bit. And so we need to have the right tools to match all those different types of working environments as well as the different types of people and functions. So what I want to do is I'm going to first start with some spaces. I want to look at some examples of some of the places that we work. So let's start here, the home office space. This is typically where most of us start our day. Maybe some of us are lucky enough to have a dedicated space like this, but not all home offices look like this. Some offices look like this. So if you take a look closely, we're seeing that this desk here is stuffed behind a couch in the living room, or maybe you're in a bedroom. And so maybe that means you've got kids running around in the background. Maybe you've got people or animals or dogs coming in and out of the room. And so we need tools that can help our people stay focused and be at their best. So just a couple examples of our home working environment. But we've also got shared working environments, and so people are returning to office. Some companies are mandating return to offices, and these spaces also have their fair share of challenges. So, we've got side conversations, desk-to-desk conversations. Sometimes there's even pets in offices. And so the point here is that in all these different spaces, we need to have devices that really help, again, to make sure that our people are productive, collaborative, focused, all of the above. And even more important are the concept of all people. So all spaces, all people. All of our users are different, and we need to make sure that our people have the tools that match them and work for them and their unique needs, their functions, and their preferences. And so Logitech, we've developed an extensive portfolio of personal devices for organizations so that they can enable their employees in all spaces. And we want to make sure that the choices that we have in each and every one of these categories that you're seeing here on the screen are also broad too, so that we can meet the unique needs of all the different types of employees that we have and their unique needs and preferences. And so with that said, today we are excited to announce 4 new products to our personal workspace portfolio. We've got our product team here to not just tell you about them, but we're going to show them to you live. And so with that, if you're ready, we're going to start with our first product. So I like doing this slide, and we did this in our last session. A little bit of a joke, this is not the new product. This is our MX Master 3S. The reason why I show this slide is that the MX Master 3S for years now has been the people's mouse. It's the people's favorite mouse. And one of the stories that I like to tell is that I've owned every single MX Master that has ever existed. So back in the day, I purchased the MX Master, the original one. I then bought with my own money MX Master 2, used that for just actually a couple months because the MX Master 3 came out right after that, and I still bought it. And then here at Logitech, I've used the MX Master 3S for years. And so again, the people's mouse have loved this mouse for years and years and years, and I am not the only one. Reviews from customers, organizations, mainstream sources, they have consistently reviewed and loved our MX Master. And so today, we are excited to show you the latest in our MX Master story. Let's have a look. So the wait is over. Introducing MX Master 4 for Business. The bestest mouse in the world got even bestester. So Tanya, Greg, I'm going to pass it over to you. Let's talk all about it.
I love Best of Sir. So yes, it is Best of Sir with awesome things that we have done to maintain that peak performance that everyone loves, as well as improve on it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Then I'm really going to pass it over to Greg to really show you the things we've done for design, including sustainability. And then I'll kind of round us out with some of the really cool software features. So let's just get started. So some of the things you all love, including Craig, right? Some of these performance things that we did not change, right? The 8,000 DPI sensor that tracks on virtually any surface, including glass. That quiet click technology that allows you, to mouse and do all of that with, in keeping the environment quiet around you, right? So you're not annoying your coworkers. And then, of course, the mag speed scrolling. I saw a couple comments in the chat. Yes, 1,000 lines, you can just zip through it, or you can do line by line for that precision that you're looking for. One of the things we did improve is the connectivity, right? This time it's 2 times more powerful thanks to an advanced radio chip and optimized antenna placement design. So that should make it super awesome in congested wireless environments, but just daily, day-to-day use, giving you that performance you're looking for. And this is our first mouse that is moving to the Logibolt USB-C receiver. So hopefully, I know I'm excited about that because my laptop only has 2 USB-C ports. So with that, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I am going to turn it over to Greg, and he's actually going to show you the product.
Thanks, Tonya. So here is our beautiful FSC packaging. So I'm going to open it and take it out of the box. So the first thing you see, as Tonya said, is our little USB-C receiver. As you can see, super compact. And, as most people, I only have a USB-C port. I'm on the Mac. So that's the main connection you can have. But you can also use a Bluetooth connections if you want to do it. USB-C receiver is great for congested environments, but direct Bluetooth connection works for most environments. Now let's open the box. So let me take it out and see this new MX Master 4. So the first thing you see here is that we have kept the shape that had made us this MX series so successful over the years. So you can see how it really embraced my hand beautifully. I've been using it for 3 or 4 months, and I've been like, since I wear it, it's just very, very natural positioning. How is it fitting for your hand, Tonya?
Again, we didn't change that ergonomic shape, so I think everybody's going to love it. I think that's one of the things, like you saw in some of the reviews that Craig posted, that people just love the shape of the mouse. So it fits really nicely, right? Like you can see exactly where your thumb goes and where your palm fits. So it's a nice fit. I think they'll still love it.
Exactly. So now let's go into the details, right? So here you've got this beautiful MagSafe scroll wheel. And then after that, looking at the side, so we have changed the side buttons here, so in a much more natural position compared to where your thumb is. And then the haptics button has been put in here. So a very familiar buttons and enhanced location to further improve your performance. In terms of material, you can't see it completely clearly here, but very durable material. We have really improved on that area, and really making it a product that is lasting a lot longer over time. Then looking at the back, one of the things that we stand for Logitech is sustainability, right? So we try to really build for repairability. So as you can see here, you've got 6 screws all around, and if you need to, you can repair. And at the end of the life cycle of the product, is very easy to recycle. On top of that, we're using a high percentage of recyclable plastic, 54%. We use low carbon aluminum, and all of these beautiful parts are unpainted. So one of the things to try to reduce our carbon impact is to try to do less things. So for example, painting. And as you can see here, you got a beautiful logo looking fantastic, and that has done without paint. With that, let me pass back to Tonya to talk more about the software part.
Awesome. All right. Okay, so I'm hoping that many of you have used and know about Logitune, but if you don't, it is our end user software for customization, for personalization. So all of those buttons that Greg showed you, you can customize in our Logitune software. Everything from, and then as well as pointer speed, scroll mode, direction, sensitivity, right? But all of those buttons in Logitune, you can actually customize to anything you want. So for example, that new little gesture button, I've customized mine to the back button because I use that quite a bit. I know other people that, make it other shortcuts that they really use. So for Logitune, you can do all of those customizations that you would want, kind of, I don't want to call them basic, but kind of standard customizations you would want for mice or keyboards. Now, if you want to do more, you want some of these advanced customizations like the action ring, which you see right here in a second, this action ring, download Options Plus. And now those 6 buttons you can turn into hundreds of customizable features. Anything you want. You can turn one of those buttons into like the favorite website that you go to so you can just get to it really, really fast. And then when you touch that thumb pad, right, that was just showing, that's what pops up that action ring. And so now instead of going to tabs or whatever, like you pop up that action ring and you're super quick to those applications that you use. So again, that would be customizable in Options Plus. Now, there were some questions about haptic feedback. I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about that. So this is new for MX Master 4, right? And we're used to haptic feedback in a lot of our other personal devices, my watch, my phone. So it gives you notifications. So there are device level notifications with MX Master 4. For example, when you're connecting your device or when you connect, you connect to a new device. One of the most useful ones, I think, is the low battery. So when it's time, that you need to charge, like you're just going to get a little gentle feedback. And then, it's just a great reminder. So those are some device level notifications. Then there are more that you can do with customizations. There are app level haptic feedback applications. And the 2 that are ready at launch is one is with Zoom. So video conferencing. So you get, you're in a Zoom call and you're in a big one, right? Like perhaps maybe something like this. It's an all hands, right? And someone messages you personally, you will get a little bit of feedback. If they're like, Craig, are you on this call? Right? And then I can send you the chat that I wanted to ask you. As well as people joining the meeting or raising a hand. So I think super useful. And then, of course, that Logitech has a really deep partnership with Adobe. So these are several of the creative apps that will have haptic feedback. So things like if you're designing and you're trying to align shapes or things like that, in your work, you would get that little bit of feedback when you've gotten it into the spot that you want it in. And of course, we're working on more. So this isn't it. This is just what's ready at launch. So stay tuned. We are continuing to work on other applications that we think would be useful in business, right? I'm excited about things that, might come with Google Suite or might come with Microsoft. So stay tuned, more to come. So that's end user software. Let's pivot a little bit. And again, I'm hoping that many of you are already familiar with Logitech Sync. It's our centralized deployment management software. So it's where you can see all of the devices that you've deployed, including MX Master 4 for business, right? You can see, as in this case, you've deployed 100 of those devices across 101 across your organization. You can see their serial numbers if for any reason you need to do any sort of troubleshooting or anything like that. So it gives you secure and simple visibility into the products that you have in your organization. So as Craig said, I think MX Master 4 for Business, it's available now. So we launched it on the 30th. and we're already getting some awesome reviews. So take a look at some of those reviews, see what you think, or try it out for yourself. But I'll turn it back to you, Craig.
Love this mouse.
I know you do.
There are a number of other people that love this mouse too. So we've got a Mentimeter question here. You've heard a lot of the different features. We didn't list every single feature as part of this question here, but if you scan this QR code or 66372203menti.com, would love to hear from you what your favorite features are. But Tanya, Greg, before we pull that over, as Jordan is pulling that over, what are some of the favorite features that you love?
Well, like I said, the back button I think is super cool. And then, of course, like that mag speed scrolling, right? Because sometimes you got to go through a spreadsheet and you got to get all the way to the bottom for what you're looking for.
About you, Greg?
I'm all about comfort, Craig. I love this mouse that embraces the shape of my hand. I can wear it throughout the day without any pain and great comfort.
Love that. So earlier in our last session, one of the ones that I had noted is one of my favorite, I guess, features is the new material or the new, what did you call that, Greg? The way that we've made it to be stain resistant, right? For the new MX Master 4. When you love a mouse so much and you're using it every single hour of every single day, you tend to get these, persistent markings from your human oils and all of that stay on the mouse. So that's one of my favorite parts that I'm looking forward to with the mouse here. Now, let's take a look at what people have responded to here. So 34% are excited about button customization. So Tanya, I'm sure that in addition to the individual button customizations, folks are also pretty excited about the actions ring as well. We've got 25% haptic feedback. I do have to echo what Tanya was saying earlier. Getting the battery notification, so I did receive one actually earlier this week, is great. It is super helpful. But even things like Tanya was saying, oh, I'm getting a chat. I have that haptic feedback that's connected with Zoom. You realize that these are really premium upgrades that are really nice to help you with your productivity. And of course, let's see, 18% we've got mag speed scrolling. This is something that has always been premium about our MX series. 17% quiet click, again, great for these shared office environments, and then our 8000 DPI 7%. So a lot to look forward to here. A lot of folks are excited. Again, Tanya mentioned available now. Folks have already, mainstream sources have already started to review it too. So really looking forward to seeing what folks think as you start to buy it and use it. All right, so let me go back here. And let's talk about our next new product. Again, this is part of my joke here. This is not our new product. We're going to move right along here, but this is our K750 keyboard. Again, it's not the new product, but the reason why I bring this here is that we launched it back in 2010, and it was the world's first solar keyboard. And the reason why we built it then was because we wanted to build a completely hassle-free experience for folks. So again, you've got it, and it just charges. But this was really a device that we felt was not just ready for an upgrade, but ready for an upgrade to be ready for business. So I want to take a look at the context before we talk about this next product and why we really, some of the things we thought about when it came to this new product. So here's a typical office space. This is down here in Logitech's office down here in Southern California. You can see I'm working here alongside my colleague Jordan. Now, in spaces like this, we want to provide our employees with a keyboard at the desk. But when it comes to wireless keyboards, one of the pieces of feedback that we've gotten from you is, well, how do we keep the thing charged? And whose responsibility is it to charge it? And so even with standard solar devices that require sunlight, it can be challenging because as you're seeing from this GIF here, our desks are not necessarily right next to a window. And there's a reason why I took this angle, is that we've got light, but that light is really just from the lights that are being, that are really from the ceiling there. Right. So again, that's a challenge. We want a device that powers itself, but our desks aren't necessarily right next to a window or sunlight. So with those challenges in mind, let's take a look at our next product. So introducing the Signature Slim Solar K980 for Business. Tanya and Greg, I'm gonna hand it to you.
Awesome. All right. Had a little bit of a loading issue, so let's see if it goes.
If not, we'll just toss it back to me, Tanya, and we'll
Okay,
do
perfect. Because I only have a
next slide thing.
couple slides before we go back to Greg. So, yep. All right.
All right, I'm going to
Why don't you
replace yours.
take it
We're just
back?
going to go back to mine. Give me 1 second.
Perfect.
Here we go.
You got it. Awesome. Yep. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the light power technology and how that makes it hassle-free. I think Craig kind of alluded to it. And then I'm going to give it back to Greg so he can again show you the actual product and talk about the things we did around design. So the MK980 Signature Slim Solar, as Craig said, bit of a mouthful. But anyways, the Signature Slim Solar Plus is powered by a new battery technology that we call Logi Light Charge, and it can be powered in virtually any light, and we mean any light. Like Craig showed you, whether you're sitting next to the window, you're in the middle of the office, or sometimes, it's that time of year where it gets dark early and you're trying to finish up some emails, slides that you're working on, and it's a little bit dark. So that would be, there you go. There was a little bit of a GIF that kind of showed you, I know we don't want to have to work like that, but we do sometimes. So, and then I think, again, there's a couple things in this hassle-free. This keyboard will have power for up to a year inside that closed box, which I think is probably great for companies that, you need to buy a number of them so that you've got them ready when employees start working. So you hand it to them, they take it out of the box. It's going to be ready to work up to that 1 year. And then let's just say you do have to deploy some of them in a dark lab. It can work for up to 4 months, even in complete darkness, before you need to take it to a light source. And then the last one would be just this built to last, and the fact that you do not have to replace alkaline batteries. You do not have to do any additional charging with a cable. We've seen some products like that. This will 100% be charged through the light technology and any light source that you have. So with that, I was going to go ahead and turn it back to Greg. So off to you.
Thank you, Tonya. All right. Solar keyboard. So I remember when I joined Logitech about 12 years ago, I heard a lot of excited customers that love our K750 solar keyboard, which was a huge innovation at the time. And many people kept it for many, many, many years. And we're super excited to have it now. So here is our nice FSC packaging that we have. All right, so this is what's in the box. Same USB-C bolt receiver that is coming standard with any of our new B2B NPIs. So all the new product forward-looking will be with this connectivity. Now let's take the keyboard out. All right, so the first thing you notice is there is no USB-C charging connection required, right? Our engineering team is so confident that we will be able to charge it. We're able to charge even with a very low light, even 200 lux, like very low lighting, we will still charge and you'll never have to worry about charging at any point in time. So this is peace of mind, and I've heard about so many times customer talking about when they use a battery keyboard or mouse, battery-powered keyboard or mouse. People are like, who's going to look after the battery in 2 years' time? Well, this one you don't have to worry about that. All right, then let's talk about the thinness. Look about that. Like this is super thin design, so very, very compact design, and it's a laptop style typing, so very familiar with, all of us, most of us spend a lot of time on the laptop, and in here it's a very natural typing experience. How was your experience with it so far, Tonya?
It was awesome. Like, I'm so glad you showed people how thin it is, because that's like one of my favorite things is that it is that low profile. So I think it really does. It adds to that laptop style, right? Because most of our laptops, it's it's not that far for you to reach over and type. So I think that's super awesome. And yes, the actual keys and the low travel, it really does feel like a laptop.
Cool. So with this keyboard, we have our new layout for the keys. So one of the key things that people always want to do is, like now, we're in Zoom call, we want to have easy access to mute or video on and off. Is your kids turning up in the background, right? The next thing we have is we have now an AI key. So if you're on a PC, this will activate Copilot. If you're on Mac, it will activate AI Apple Intelligence. If you're on a Chrome, it will open Gemini. Or if you like ChatGPT or other ones, you can configure that in Tune. Next, you have 23 customizable keys, so F1 to F12. If you want to customize, you go in Logitune. We'll show you that in details in a minute. And 5 more here and 4 more here. So total of 23 keys customizable to your liking if your organization needs that. Then easy switch, so you can connect up to 3 devices to this keyboard, and you can switch it with 1, 2, 3 here. This connection can be made with both or Bluetooth. Now, sustainability, again, a big focus that we have with Logitech. We always think about sustainability. So first of all, we won't have to worry about having to change battery, which is a big saving. And then if you look at made with PCR, so post-consumer plastic, 73%. And look at this finishing, right? Can you believe this is using PCR plastic, Tanya?
Nope. I mean, and like you said, we push the envelope so far on everything we can do for sustainability. And this is just another great example, right? PCR, the low carbon aluminum plates inside, everything we can do.
Thank you. Cool. So then to conclude, we all often design for multi-platform. So this work with Mac, PC, and Chromebook. So then, Tonya, let's talk about software.
Definitely. All right. Okay, so just like I tried to explain a little bit about Logitune, so I'm hoping I made that clear. But again, it's our customization software for the end user or the employee. So all those buttons Greg talked about, those 23 buttons that you can customize, you can do that in Logitune, make them many things that you want. Like he mentioned, the F-row key, change to the AI application that you prefer to use or that your company prefers you to use. And again, that action key. So again, all of our Logitech for Business personal workspace products, headsets, mice, keyboards, you can customize in Logitune. And then again, just like I had mentioned with the MX Master 4, that Logitech Sync management software, again, same, you can see, especially I think this one will be awesome. You can see all of the keyboards, the Solar Plus keyboards that maybe you've deployed around the office. You will also be able to see the battery health, which I think for IT will be great. I feel like it just gives you a little bit of peace of mind that, they're all at 100%, 90%. Maybe that one that's in the lab is getting close to that 4 months and, you need to kind of go flip the lights on, but you'll be able to see it in sync. So back to Craig. Oh, no, sorry. Availability now. So Craig's got his. Obviously, Greg has his. I have mine, but it's back here. But yeah, it's available now. So please, check it out. Let us know what you think. And now back to Craig.
Thanks, Tanya. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. So we're going to keep moving right along because we've got 2 more products to present right here. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to go back to an image that we saw earlier. So for the final 2 products, I want to take a look at this office space and give this context. So again, we're here in our actual shared office space here in Southern California, but we're also only looking at this from one angle. What I want to do in the next slide is I want to move the camera and I want to show the space from a different angle. So here's the other angle. Now, if you look, there's a lot that's happening right next to Jordan and I, and this is actually pretty typical in office spaces. So I've got my two very lovable but also somewhat chatty coworkers. I've got John, I've got Brendan here, and they're having a great conversation. And if you look, I'm going to bring my mouse over here. If you look closely right here on the bottom, we also have the cutest dog in the world, Ruby, who comes in as well. And so this is kind of pretty typical. You have side conversations, you have desk-to-desk conversations, and this is super important to collaboration in workspaces. And this is a big part of the reason why we're returning to office, is to be able to have conversations like this impromptu and just from desk to desk. But at the same time, the feedback that we've gotten from you is that we need to make sure that our employees are equipped with the right tools to help them focus when they're in an environment like this. Okay, so we have two new products to introduce today for this purpose. But before we do that, I want to actually take a step back, and we're going to show a video that talks about Logitech's heritage and innovation when it comes to building headsets. So we're going to watch this video, and it's going to highlight some of our engineers, but it's also going to give you a real sense of some of the work and some of the real detail and thought that goes behind building our headsets. So let's have a look.
Logitech got into the audio business by reselling replacement headsets for the Sony Walkman. And that led into Logitech hiring engineers and getting serious about designing audio products from the ground up.
Logitech's DNA in audio stretches back to many decades. Gaming headsets, enterprise headsets, pretty much all the famous musicians you can think of using in-ear monitors, mobile and desktop speakers, desktop microphone. And we've taken all that legacy and applied that to all our modern products today that you can see across so many different categories.
For the Zone Wireless 2 ES and Zone Wired 2, we started with a foundation for the audio experience with a module we'd already designed for really high performance audio. It's primarily being used in our top-of-the-line gaming headsets. And I came with a challenge to the team to see if we could put it into a business headset. And so for the first time, we actually have some science that we've never seen in this category before. One of the things that we did was we updated the driver. The driver can get very complex when you want it to perform well. That membrane on the front that moves the air has to be very, very light so that you're efficient. But it also has to be incredibly stiff. Otherwise, when it moves, you get distortion. And so we've worked with partners on developing materials that are incredibly light and stiff for this membrane. We also designed a suspension system to hold this membrane, whereas most headsets just glue the membrane down and it bends and flexes as the motor puts force on it. Most headphone manufacturers will purchase drivers that were already created very generically. We always customize them. This is really revolutionary, putting it into a business headset.
What the headset provides is a feature called active noise cancellation. Adaptive ANC is something which kicks in and adjusts the settings automatically based on the environment you're in. We are now able to run more advanced audio algorithms which are based on machine learning and still keep the power consumption low. And so right now these machine learning algorithms can target transient noises like keyboards, vacuum cleaner, dog barking, and also voice distractors, which is really important in an open space environment like open offices. So in the hybrid workspace, this machine learning approaches really provide a lot of benefit compared to what we used to be able to deliver earlier.
The industry is full of headsets that are not comfortable for people to wear. So we take a lot of care in designing the materials and the mechanical structure of many parts of our headsets. The headband, for example, we want to make sure it's not creating pressure points on the head at multiple locations. We want to make sure our ear pads don't create pressure points for users, and there's not a significant amount of temperature buildup within the ear. So comfort is a big part of the experience.
We're also very concerned about making sure everything we put into these headsets is good for the environment as well.
Sustainability is a core pillar of all Logitech products we do, and headsets are no exception to it. For every single product we build that has plastics in them, we go for at least a minimum of 30% post-consumer recyclable plastics, and many of our products are significantly above that number.
As I look into the future, we'll be able to convey more emotion through sound than people had previously experienced in a product of a certain type. We'll be able to pick up people's voices and share them in ways that people thought were impossible. And it's really exciting to me.
Okay, so introducing our Zone Wireless 2 ES and our Zone Wired 2 for Business. So we've got a wireless option, we've got a wired option. Now, but before we get to Tanya and Erica, let's actually talk about giveaways. Okay, so now is your chance. We've got a QR code here on the right where you can enter to win the headset. You can enter to win the new Zone Wireless 2 ES for Business. Now, quick disclaimer, not open to Logitech employees, partners, and resellers, and you must live in an eligible country. But all of this can be confirmed once you just click this QR code, and you'll see it on the content landing page. But this is your chance. We'll also have this QR code right at the end. I'll show this screen just one last time. But yeah, if you're interested, if you like this, it's probably part of the reason why you're here. Check out our giveaway. Be sure to scan this QR code. Okay, next, over to you, Erica. Over to you, Tanya.
Awesome. And I can share, I can take over. So there we go. Perfect. All right. So just like before, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the features that are kind of hard to show. So these will be the focus for all, and some things under uninterrupted workflow. And then I'm going to pass it to Erica because she's going to show you the product and talk all about the design, including sustainability and some really cool features for business. So as you saw a lot in the video, we have done some amazing things to enhance ANC on this product. So on both of these products. So actually, let me take a step back because maybe we went a little quickly, but we are launching 2 headsets at the same time. We have Zone Wireless 2 ES for business. As the name implies, it is the wireless version that Craig is wearing and Greg is wearing. I know, right? And then we have a wired version because we do know that there's many industries that really prefer wired. There's people that prefer wired, right? Like you just plug it in. I never have to remember to charge it because I'm wearing the wired version, just like Erica. So all the features that I'm going to talk to you about, and the same with Erica, are going to apply to both of those headsets. So both the wireless and the wired version. So this first one would be ANC. We know that as Craig showed, colleagues in his office, dogs barking, people typing, right? It can get really, really noisy. So what is cool with the ANC, the hybrid ANC on both of these products, is that it adapts in real time without any interaction from you. So like that video, Craig's there working, he's concentrating, all of a sudden the coworkers start talking, the dog starts barking. It will actually automatically adjust to the higher level so that it's blocking out more of that noise. Whereas before, when it was quiet, before everyone got to the office, it would have been at a lower level. Now, you can, of course, adjust that yourself in the Logitune software that I talked about, but the headset will actually do it for you. So that hopefully that will stop the interruptions in your workflow where you have to go and adjust it. And then if you're like me, when I'm on calls, I really like to hear a little bit of what's going on around me so that I'm not screaming. So I turn on transparency mode, which you can do again in Logitune, and then it just helps me hear a little bit of my surroundings. Now, Matt on the video talked a lot about this driver that we designed ourselves, and we did it so that we could really fine-tune the audio of the product as well as enhance the ANC performance. And then, of course, as a business headset, you need great and certified noise-canceling microphones. So both of these headsets are certified for Microsoft Teams, for Zoom, for Google Meet, and Voice. In addition, they get an extra level of certification for open office microphones, which just means it's that much better that it can cancel the noise from coming across your calls, even in those loud environments, like with the dogs barking. And Mina showed some of that on the video, right? The LLMs that we use, that we're designing or that we're using, we're looking at to kind of remove those noises from interrupting your calls. And now if I turn to some of the things that we think help you kind of, and additionally, keep your workflow, right? In addition to the noise cancellation. The wireless headset does come in a native Bluetooth version. So that means you get the same Microsoft Teams certified experience as well as Google Meet experience, but without the receiver. So now you've freed up one of those precious USB ports, and also you just don't have to keep track of it. And this is our 4th headset that we have certified for Microsoft Teams over native Bluetooth. So we have 4 choices, different wearing styles, really gives IT choice, right? Gives them the choice they can give to their employees of what style do you like to wear. And then smart enumeration. So this is a feature that we've enabled on a previous headset as well. This is a feature our customers love. IT says thank you because it eliminates the confusion of when your device is connected or disconnected. So, and that just happens because you leave the receiver in, like I do when I'm using the wireless headset, and even when it's not in use, your system will say that it is because the receiver's still there. So smart enumeration solves for that. It makes sure that the headset's in use. It tells me, or that it's active. It tells me I'm using the headset, it's connected. When it's not, it will tell me that it's my laptop speakers. So super clear. I'm not calling IT saying my headset doesn't work. It'll be really clear to me which product, if I'm connected or not. And of course, all day battery life. I really hope you don't have to work 20 to 25 hours a day. But I guess if you have one of those power days, your headset will keep you covered. Then in addition, let's say you forgot to charge it. We all do. 5 minutes, quick charge gives you an hour of talk time. And then, of course, if you need more than that, you can actually use this product. You can use the wireless product as a wired product. So that can just get you through more than that hour. So it's audio over USB, or if you're in a congested wireless environment. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Erica, and she's going to actually show you the product.
Cool. Thanks, Tanya. Super excited to show you more about this two cool new headsets. So let me turn off my, change the camera. Yes, here it is. So starting with unboxing, I've got 2 headsets here, Zone Wireless 2 ES and Zone Wire 2. As you can see, this box is made with FSC certified material, which basically means every part is responsibly sourced. And yes, that is even applies to this little tape. So I'm gonna put the wired one aside for now and start unboxing the wireless one. First, you'll see some quick start guide and charging cable and the receiver. Then we get to this sturdy pouch made out of from 100% recycled plastic bottles. And I know already a lot of us liking it, like Tanya, Craig, right?
It's our favorite. We kind of nerded out over it last night. It's soft, but it is really substantial, right? And then my favorite part, Erica's going to show the little pouch for the receiver, a little pocket, so that I don't get lost in the bottom of my backpack.
Exactly. Here you go. There's a little pocket here. And finally, the headset. I mean, look at this, right? It's something that I would definitely love to wear in office because it just looks so stylish and professional. And I also love the fact that it comes in different colors. So graphite here and off-white, if you saw me wearing earlier, but off-white here. And then we also have the rose.
Rose, my favorite.
Yes. So let's now look at closer at the headset, starting with the comfort, because when it comes to headset that you have to wear for hours, we know how important the comfort is. So there's one thing we've learned from our gaming headsets, because we know gamers can literally wear them all day long, right? And well, thanks to this strap design. This strap does evenly distribute the pressure across your head, which gives you all-day comfort, whether you're in back-to-back meetings or you're fully focused on your next big project. So the other day, actually, one of our beta testers was telling me that this headset is so comfortable, they actually forgot to put it on until he had touched his head. So also, Tanya, I know you've been wearing this for months now. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I can totally understand why you forgot. I know that for me, a lot of times the headset, just where it sits, and again, I don't know if I have a pointy head, but it's just right there, and it ends up just feeling uncomfortable in that one singular spot. But with this band, it is actually touching about 3 inches. So it's suspending the weight of the entire product. Instead of on a single point, it's like 3 inches. And I know Hari showed it in that video. It was kind of those heat maps, but that's what we did in some of the testing to kind of just see where the pressure is. And it, instead of being in that single point, it really does distribute it. And for me, that's what's making it super comfortable.
Exactly. I mean, actually, that's a really good point because for headset, again, it's super important to fit not only me, but also others like to Tanya and Greg, right? So that's why we pay attention to every details, like making the headset adjustable, like this, right? I'll show the other side, all the way up to 40 millimeter, and ear cup rotating. So it can really give you a comfortable fit for people with different head size and shape.
And glasses. I find that that is part of what really helps it being more comfortable if you're somebody that wears glasses.
Right. And here's another feature, that I know our users absolutely love about the fact that microphone rotating the other side. So this is really good because it always gives a ability to choose what works best for you. And you'll see all the controls on the headset like ANC and same for the wired one. So let's now move on to talk about how this headset is great for the planet. First, this headset is built to last, right? For example, when the headsets are used by summer interns who are just at the company for a few months, now you can easily repurpose them for future uses by replacing the strap, easy like this, and the ear pad, like this. Plus, the battery is replaceable too. So here I disassembled one just to show you, but it's super simple. Just like take out the ear pad, open it up, then there you go. Just unplug it and you're all set. This battery itself is also using recycled cobalt so that we can further reduce the impact. And the audio driver, we talked about it earlier, is made out of magnets using recycled metals. So with that, we've seen how thoughtfully our headsets are designed. I'm gonna shift gears to show you the software. All right, so this is basically where Logitech Sync, our cloud management portal, comes in. Just like Tanya mentioned a couple of times earlier, this is the one centralized place for you to monitor and manage all Logitech for Business products, again, including the headsets. And this is also where you can ensure devices has the latest firmware. So speaking of the firmware updates, we know sometimes this can be some pain, right? Because this could mean disruptions, downtime, or even worse, like imagine when you're running into a firmware update in the middle of important calls. No, right? So those days are over. We're super excited to introduce this real game changer, silent firmware updates. So let me show you how this works. Here on my screen, you're seeing this live Logitech Sync dashboard. And you're gonna see, let's click Zone Wire 2. And when there's a new firmware available, this is what you're gonna see. And just simply hit this purple publish button. Then from there, the new firmware will be automatically pushed and downloaded to the end user's headset. Then the firmware installation on the headset will only happen when the headset is not in use, like when you turn it off. So again, everything's done silently in the background, so no interruptions, no productivity lost.
And Erica, as like the employee or the companies, all their employees, they don't have to do anything, right?
Nothing. Nope. Just keep use the headset as you normally do. Great. So one last thing from me is LogiTune. Let's have a quick look. Again, LogiTune is the application for end users like you to personalize your headset experience. So you can change like ANC modes, something like this, or side tone, which lets you to hear yourself during calls so you don't find yourself shouting in a call. So that's all I have today. And now I'll hand it over to Tanya.
Awesome. And I just have what you can get. So Zone Wireless 2 ES comes in 3 versions. So we have the Teams version with the receiver available in all the 3 colors that Erica showed you, a UC version with the receiver available in graphite, and then the Teams native Bluetooth version available in graphite. These products should be available within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we're all super looking forward to you guys getting your hands on them. And then the wired version comes in 2 versions. So Teams version, all 3 colors, UC version, graphite. And the wired headset will be available starting in early December. And with that, I believe it's back to you, Craig.
Yes, but with 5 minutes left, we're going to rush through some of the stuff at the end because I do want to answer some of the key questions that did come up. So I mentioned I would do the giveaway slide one last time. So here's the QR code one more time. I'll leave this up for just a few seconds here. But Greg, Erica, Tanya, let's pull out some of the questions that we saw from the chat and answer some of them live here. And I'll kick it off with the first one. So Greg, there have been some questions around Logi Bolt, Tanya, same thing. I want to double click and talk a bit more about this. So when you've got Logi Bolt, you've got busy office environments, you've got a lot of different things going on. We've really upgraded this in significant ways. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah, sure. So I think Logi Bolt is really your solution for congested work offices, right? So if your office has a lot of people sitting, Logi Bolt has a very efficient system to really ensure that you really have good performance RF wise. And also the other question that we talked about is that it's compatible with all the Bolt enabled devices. So basically all the mouse and keyboard we launched for the last 4 or 5 years, they're all Bolt enabled. So this new receiver that has 2 times better RF performance will be compatible with all the last mouse and keyboard you bought for the last 4 or 5 years.
Tanya, anything we want to add there? If not, folks, what are some of the other questions, Greg, Erica, Tanya, that we've seen that we want to call out here?
There is one asking if the MX4 battery is replaceable as well, and yes, it is. I think Greg turned the mouse over and kind of showed you we've really simplified the disassembly, but that also allows you to get to that battery and replace it. And in most countries, we're working through a company that is called iFixit, in which you can order the battery and it'll come with the little tools and you can easily replace it.
You know, Tanya, a question that we get a lot that I think we should call out live is just around certification. So it's like, okay, this is certified for Microsoft Teams, right? We made that announcement for some of our other headsets too, Zone 305, right? You kind of showed an entire slide about that. Let's talk about what that exactly means and why it's great.
So for the 3 major platforms, we do work closely with them to get those certifications. And what it certifies is it certifies the mic quality, right? Making sure that it's going to work on their platform, that it's not going to cause any interruptions, any problems, right, with like sound. So we make sure that we have their same level of, of quality that they want. It also gives you the interaction with the platform. So for example, right, if I put myself on mute, you would see dashboard. Same with I turn my video on and off. So that's also part of what we do is those integrations, right, with those platforms. And then I did see a question like, what's the difference between the Teams and the UC version? Good question. The Teams version has a Teams button. So if you're in that Teams ecosystem, you can just push that button on your headset and it allows you to, jump into some of those, jump into that Teams experience, just like you would with other products. So, and that's something that's just part of their experience.
Erica, I want to pose this question to you. There have been a couple questions both in the chat and the Q&A around differences between Zone Wireless 2 ES and Zone Wireless 2. Do we maybe want to speak to that very quickly?
Yeah, great question. So basically, ES from Zone Wireless 2 ES stands for essential, which basically means this Zone Wireless 2 ES that we show you today is pulling all the key essential features from our top of line headset Zone Wireless 2. which means it has those features that will help you stay focused in a loud open office environments like ANC, noise canceling microphones, and sound quality.
I'm going to answer some of the questions that have come up here just about Logitech Sync. And Erica, you may want to add some stuff in here, but we've had some questions around, and this is the same last night as well. Okay, so we're interested in managing personal devices with Sync. How much does that cost? What are the licensing needs for that? That is just part of our initial free Sync offering, correct?
That's correct.
And then just to kind of add on to that, the way that that's done is you install Tune onto the user's computers. You can actually pull that Tune package to install on those computers from your Sync instance. And then once the users have Tune, what's great is that, as Erica showed, they're going to have a number of different configuration options for their headsets and for all their different peripherals. But then at that point, that is the communication line between those devices and Sync. And so that's when the IT administrator will start to see those devices in Sync as well. But that is just a feature that's going to just come as part of a just basic Sync usership or user package right there.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
Greg, I want to go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions about docs. I think there's a lot of Logidocs fans that are very disappointed that we had the end of life notice, and I think there were a question about MX keys. We hear you. Stay tuned. There may be announcement in the future, but at this stage, there's nothing to announce.
Greg, one question I did want to throw to you, because I think this is a really important call out, is, some comments about, okay, so cabling with our Signature Slim Solar, charging by light. Are we confident that the light charge is that good? Let's really just talk about that one more time, that engineering just felt that strongly about the power of the keyboard. And, let's talk about that here for a second.
Yeah, so Logitech engineering in general, when you want to go to quality and say, guys, we want to have like a keyboard that is without any way to charge, like the stress test that engineering passes is probably like 10 times harder than whatever you think about. So we had all these tests going on, and we believe that it can probably last up to 10 years. So, you're going to be able to put into darkness for 4 months, and then you just take it out, and with a very light lights, no pun intended, you're still going to charge there. So we've been testing it. I mean, we have lots of people internally testing it. We have a lot of lab testing it, and it just works.
Group, any other major questions that you've seen from the chat that we want to call out here?
I have not.
Okay. Well, with that then, I'm going to share one last screen here before we close out. We tried our best to answer as many questions as we could. If you have additional questions, or like you're seeing here, you're interested in exploring anything that you've seen today, you've got a QR code here. Really, truly contact us anytime. And that's really the point. I had mentioned this at the beginning. It's a good bookend. I'll mention it here at the end. This session is all about you, actually. We're doing this so that we can connect with you and not just talk at you. But again, we're trying to answer as many of your questions as possible. We really want to have that interface with you. We really appreciate you attending all of this, because it helps us to make sure that what we develop is truly matched with the needs that you have. So again, really appreciate your attendance. And there's going to be plenty of more next steps in the near future. So really appreciate everyone attending today. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.